When I designed the 400-gallon aquarium, I wanted to have a light rack that would move completely out of the way, which allows me full access to the aquarium. In addition, with the rack out of the way, I had full access to the lights themselves to change things, clean things, and not risk dropping anything into the aquarium in the process. The first thing I have to do is unscrew these little screws that hold the metal halide bulb inside the pendant, and those little wing nuts could easily fall into the aquarium if you're not careful, so I have to be pretty cautious, of course. But again, with the light rack pulled back, if anything, it's going to fall on the floor, and I just have to keep it out of the French drain. The metal halide bulb is now set on top of the rack near the ballast, which allows me to take the pendant down for cleaning. Now, it's still pretty narrow up there. There's not a lot of head space above the rack, but I'm able to tilt this pendant out and remove it and bring it over to a work area to where I can clean it up. About every 3 months I take it off the aquarium. Each one, there's 3, and I take them and wipe them down completely with a damp towel, no cleaning chemicals or anything like that, and then I dry them off again with a dry towel. I just want to get off any dust or salt creep, look for any kind of signs of rust or damage. If there's a need, replace screws that are no longer good. But for the most part, these pendants have lasted me, I believe, going on 7 or 8 years now. The pendants have 4 screws that hold a piece of metal trim on the edge that retain the glass shield in place. So I'm removing those screws right now so that I can get this piece of glass out because I want to clean both sides of the glass. Over time, what happens is the glass gets foggy on the inside from condensation, I assume. And so if I remove the glass, I'm able to, sometimes it doesn't come out so easily, but once the glass is out, I can clean it both sides with Windex and then reinstall it. The process is pretty simple. I'm just trying to make sure I get rid of any kind of salt, spatter, creep, fingerprints, that kind of thing. And I've never broken one of these glass shields yet. It's tempered glass, and it came with the pendant, so it's the right shape and size. The other benefit of the glass shield is it keeps the reflectors completely clean on the inside and devoid of any kind of fingerprints or salt creep or damage that would erode them. And so I always get great reflectivity. Now that both sides of the glass are clean, I'm able to go ahead and put it right back into the pendant itself, and then I'll reattach the holding bracket with the 4 screws. One thing that I do in this video is I use a drill to take the screws out and put them in. It would be wise to adjust that drill to not over tighten, and there's a setting on there where it's like full strength or you can bring it down. On this particular drill I set it to a level 16, which means that after the screw has gone in, there's a clutch that kicks in and stops me from continually spinning it, which would avoid stripping the screws. Once the entire light has been reassembled, it's then taken back up and put it back into the light rack. Since there are 3 to be done, this isn't a big process. I think the entire project takes 20 minutes, maybe 25 tops, and I do it about every 3 months. Now, the screw that the wing nut has to connect to, I discovered that by putting some silicone grease on those threads, it makes it go on very easily every single time and doesn't end up becoming a problem later on with any kind of rust. And that's something that, after all these years, you'd think it'd be a problem, but it's worked out really well. Now that the process is completed, I can push the light rack back into place and provide plenty of light for the aquarium with nice, shiny, clean reflectors for another 2 or 3 months.